the caveat that we have to watch out for on our side are the people who are going to react to that with, oh, we don't want anybody reaching across the aisle. We want our views completely to prevail, and so that anyone who talks to, works with a member of the opposite party is a traitor of some sort. And that's irritating to me in a lot of ways. It's specifically around when you're talking, say, criminal justice reform. We have natural allies on the left in that issue that we could certainly use and make common cause with, but so many people, and I couldn't quantify how many, but I've heard this time and again that if so and so is involved in it or approves of it, there must be something wrong with it.
Right.
That knee-jerk stuff is not going to help us.
Well, and things like the criminal justice reform, the huge opportunity we have there is to bring in members of the Libertarian Party. And as we know, on social media, the libertarian groups, particularly on Google+, which is the social media that I use, libertarians are huge there. There's a ton of libertarians in the tech community. And so there are some issues that we have that we want to talk about that are really conservative issues, that libertarians are our natural allies, and yet you're right, you start mentioning that, and there will be one or two pushbacks about, well, they're just anarchists and I'm not going to listen to them, or if Elijah Cummings is for it, then I'm against it. And they won't even consider the possibility that it's an idea. I mean, it's the genetic logical fallacy. You're absolutely dismissing an idea based on the source of the idea. People do that all the time with your story that was published on Fox News or Breitbart or Blaze. They will absolutely disregard it because that's a biased source. Well, we do the exact same thing when we say, if Obama likes it, I can't.
Yes, yes. And when we are talking about ideas and the kind of things that we want solutions for, we want action taken to make these things work and to make our government run better, less but better, what we're ending up with is people with the same exact reaction that we're condemning on the left, or people who are just knee-jerking to whatever bad reputation Republicans have, Fox News has, whatever. We're condemning them for that while we're doing it.
Well, and I think we miss a lot of opportunities to influence policy when we do that. Sometimes there are laws that come into play or that are being debated before a state legislature, and I've seen this happen where the Republicans they just all jump ship, and they're like, well, I'm not even going to talk about that because I don't like that issue. And so what happens is you end up with a law that's 10 times worse or more damaging or more controlling because you had no balancing factor on that committee or in those discussions or in that debate. When in reality, if they would have stuck around, maybe they could have influenced it a little bit and made it not quite so extreme to the left. But it's just what you guys were saying. We're so quick to just say, oh, well, I can't be on a committee with somebody like that. But also, I think we villainize Republicans who are willing to do that. Look at Romney with Romney Care. Okay, Massachusetts is an extremely liberal state. They wanted some form of socialized health care. Romney worked with his state legislature, and he pushed that legislation to the right as far as he could. But what did the Republicans and the grassroots activists do during the election? They demonized him for it. And they wouldn't even consider the fact that you have to look at the people he was governing. He's not a king. You can't go in there and just say, nope, we're not going to do it that way because I'm a Republican and I don't agree with it. He had to work within the setting that he was governing.
Right, and Texas is not Massachusetts, it's not Iowa, is not Colorado, and we need to keep those things in mind. If we want to have laboratories of the states, they're necessarily going to be different and approach solutions different ways. But let those states that make decisions different from us, find out the consequences before we roll it out. We'll be trailblazers on something else. But, just rejecting something because it's not what you would do in your state, it's extremely short-sighted.
Right, and listen to the person and find out why they did what they did. Romney had really good answers for why he legislated or why he governed the way that he did and why he worked with the legislature in crafting that piece of legislation in that program. But too many people, I saw it all the time, just blew him off and walked away.
It's really a shame, and it's not just Mitt Romney by any stretch of the imagination. I can't tell you how many people commenting on stories that Cory Booker is, joining Rand Paul on criminal justice reform issues here in New Jersey, and they're, just flat out saying, "Oh, he's working with Cory Booker. I can never vote for the guy in a presidential election. I can't ever vote for the guy because, there it is, just that guilt by association that somehow, because he's working on an issue that I think is fairly conservative in nature, with Cory Booker means that it's to a degree it seems like we've forgotten how the Senate and the House work when it comes to getting laws passed and passing legislation in general.